December 26, 1973. While most recovered from Christmas, thousands in New York City stood in freezing temperatures, waiting in line for a movie. Theater managers across the country quickly began reporting viewers vomiting in the aisles, passing out in their seats, and occasionally suffering heart attacks. Watching the film had become a grueling physical endurance test. The source material driving this panic came from author William Peter Blatty. He built his script from a widely publicized 1949 case in Maryland, where a young boy underwent a terrifying real-world exorcism. To direct the adaptation, the studio hired William Friedkin. He had cut his teeth making documentaries, and he completely refused to shoot the project as a traditional campy monster movie. Friedkin treated the script like a piece of journalistic nonfiction. His explicit goal was to capture highly inexplicable events with cold, grounded realism. This approach forces a question. If a filmmaker builds a perfect, meticulous replica of a dark, documented event, do they accidentally invite that exact same darkness into the real world? Almost immediately after cameras rolled, the production started to warp under a string of strange, statistical anomalies. It began with a fire. Over a single weekend when no one was on set, a massive blaze broke out and burned the intricate, multi-story McNeil House set entirely to the ground. The damage was so severe it halted the massive production for 6 solid weeks. Investigators couldn't find an electrical fault or an arsonist, but they did find one anomaly. Amidst the charred wood and melted equipment, the bedroom built specifically for the exorcism scenes remained completely untouched by the flames. When shooting finally resumed, the environmental accidents were replaced by direct physical harm. Friedkin demanded visceral, authentic reactions from his actors, often pushing them past their physical limits. During a stunt where the possessed child violently throws her mother across the room, the rigging pulled lead actress Ellen Burstyn too hard. She slammed into the floor, permanently injuring her spine. The people manufacturing the terror were now walking away with genuine, lasting trauma. The pursuit of a realistic horror film had crossed a dangerous threshold. To heighten the clinical dread, Friedkin shot a highly invasive medical procedure called an angiography. Instead of hiring actors, he used actual medical professionals to perform the steps on camera. The medical technician operating the machinery in this scene is a man named Paul Bateson. A few years after the film wrapped, Bateson was convicted of a brutal murder in New York City. The dread followed this pattern. By the time the film finished post-production, 9 separate, unexplainable deaths had struck the families and friends of the cast and crew. The panic followed the film overseas. For the Italian premiere in Rome, the studio booked a theater situated directly between 2 ancient Catholic churches. On the day of the screening, a freak lightning storm rolls over the city. A massive bolt struck one of the churches, sending a 400-year-old stone cross crashing down into the plaza right in front of the theater. This sequence of fires, spinal injuries, and atmospheric tragedies convinced the public that the film itself had become a vessel for actual evil. When the film went into wide release, the Catholic Church found itself overwhelmed by frantic phone calls from people demanding real-life exorcisms for their family members. While some cities attempted to ban the movie, the Academy recognized it with 10 Oscar nominations. It became the first horror film in history to compete for Best Picture, pulling the entire genre out of the grindhouse and into the mainstream. This chart shows the film's total global box office adjusted to 2023 dollars, rocketing past standard horror benchmarks to hit $2.9 billion. To this day, it remains Warner Brothers' highest-grossing film. The philosophical core of the movie is hidden right in its promotional artwork. The iconic poster was inspired by René Magritte's painting Empire of Light, which places a bright daytime sky directly over a pitch-black street. According to Friedkin, this stark contrast is exactly how the film functions. It operates as a psychological mirror for the viewer. If a viewer believes the universe is a bleak and malicious place, the story reinforces that despair. But if they believe in a higher force for good, they watch that good slowly and painfully triumph over the demonic. The film's endurance stems from the moments where the fiction and the reality of its production were allowed to completely dissolve. 50 years later, that darkness has never stayed behind the screen.